Hey everyone, I thought it might be helpful if I came on here today and just shared some tips about what might be helpful as we begin this slow reintegration process and the world just begins to open up a little bit. So I think that, probably the easiest way to look at this is that, life has served us up a really, really, really big meal. And for some people, that's kind of been delicious and it's worked out great. And for other people, that meal has tasted like crap and it's been very, very traumatic. The important thing to remember, though, is that as a consumer society, we're really good at eating and running. We're really good at fast food. We don't put much of an emphasis on giving ourselves time and rest to reflect and digest before we go back out into the world. And so you really only need to look at nature to be able to see how animals rest and digest, right? They'll have a big meal, and some animals will rest for 2 to 3 days to absorb all the nutrients from that meal and then to get rid of all the waste. And so this is a critical time for us. It's a critical time for us as individuals, and I wish we had some things in place that we could have a big reflection as a collective. But for yourself, it's a good opportunity to be able to just see if you can give yourself, a concentrated period of time to sit down and take a look at everything that you've learned over these last few months. We've heard it said over and over again that these are unprecedented times. And that means that this is an important meal for us to just digest. It's a really, really important time. And rather than it being a burden, it can be an incredible opportunity for you to be able to change your life, right? It almost acts like a catalyst or a springboard to make some changes. So the digestion period is where we're at right now. It's a time to reflect, it's a time to digest, and then we go through that process of really distilling the things that we want to keep and we want to get rid of. And then we will move into the integration phase. And the integration phase is the really tough stuff. And the reason why integration is tough is that we're going from reflecting and digesting, which is an internal process. We're doing our inner work. And integrating is when we're taking what we've learned in our internal reflection and we begin to start to take some action in our lives. And that can often take a lot of courage because the systems that we've got set up, the structures we've got set up, the relationships that we have set up, they're going to need to change to reflect our internal changes, right? And so that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage because you've really got to have a true yes and no to stand in our sovereignty and remain centered in that, be true to ourselves. But integration is a different phase and we're not there yet, so maybe I'll make a post then. But in the meantime, what I would really suggest is see if you can carve out some really precious time for yourself to reflect and digest, do some deep journaling, go for some big long walks in nature, and just really slow down and contemplate this amazing opportunity that you have to make some decisions about how you want to move forward with your life.